This is the best shit in the world for me. I get to give back. I get to salute and celebrate those who wore the blue and gray. And we get to share from our point of view, from that internal point of view. That's why it's called Hoya Locker Room. And I have no other than Reggie Williams and Riyan Williams. Thank you both for joining us today. I got nothing but love for the father-son duo to come through Georgetown. It's not the easiest thing in the world. Particularly, Riyan, I'm gonna start with you. To follow this dude, I really want to hear, because I've read what you said about why you went to Georgetown, and it blows my mind, the amount of respect and you have for your dad. But what were you thinking? Like, explain to me how you decided to go to Georgetown.
It was a big decision for me. I know, well, in my entire experience playing basketball, it was never any running away from my last name or who my dad was. So in my decision to go to college, I was like, anywhere I go, I'm gonna have to follow this. So why not just throw myself right into it, right into the mix and feel it all. Like you said, I have a huge respect for my dad and the legacy that he built at Georgetown. So I wanted to be a part of that, see what he experienced, see what made him who he is. So
Wow.
I wanted to go through that same experience, and it definitely built a lot of character for me. So I'm grateful for it.
Awesome. Awesome. Dude, you, again, the utmost respect for you making that move, especially after playing for him at Carroll. So, Reggie, we're going to jump around. There's no real rhyme or reason. But what was it like coaching Riyan at Carroll?
I mean, it was fun. I'm glad I had that experience, but it was tough because you had to separate the coach from the dad. Mm-hmm. And I think it was tough for both of us because we lived together, we drove to school together, we was together a whole lot. So it was some turmoil, but I'm glad we both went through that experience. I'm glad.
Yeah, it must have been incredible. Were you surprised that he decided to go to Georgetown?
I was surprised. Because I was looking for his well-being, because I know he wanted to play basketball, and I didn't know, they didn't recruit him, and I was disappointed about that. But I thought he could play D1 basketball and do well playing D1 basketball. So I was surprised. I didn't know if he was going to play or not. I knew he was going to get a great experience.
Sure.
School-wise and athletically. So, but I wasn't pushing Georgetown because I wanted him to make his own decision. So.
And with that, like I said, I'm gonna jump around. So, in preparing to chop it up with you both, I did a little digging, and when Riyan left Georgetown, he went to a school in Wilmington, Delaware. Goldie Beacom, am I saying that right?
Yes. Yeah, Goldie
right?
Beacom.
And I pulled up some video. And Reggie, I'm not lying, dog. I saw you when he made this one look away pass. And I remember you made a look away pass in the Final Four game. And just the athletic ability, the jump shot, the range. I saw so much of your game in Riyan. And I just want to applaud you for taking that additional year to go get your boogie on. Mm-hmm. And if you can explain to me what that was like, did you feel like you still had something in the tank? Because again, you didn't just go play. You led them in scoring. You took them to the NCAAs, Division II. What was that experience like for you?
It was a great experience. I knew at Georgetown, I knew that I was just as good as everybody there. We would always have old players come into practice like, damn, I didn't know you was this good. I ain't never seen you play. I thought you was some trash, blah, blah, blah. So I would have people coming in, other players telling me, yo, you're nice, blah, blah, blah. So I just wanted the opportunity to actually show people what I could do in the court. I don't think while JT3 was there that I really fit into the system that he had. And because of that, I couldn't really play in that system.
Yeah.
So having the opportunity to be able to a school where I could boogie, do whatever I wanted to, be the leader of the offense, and actually lead the team to the NCAAs. It was like a reassurance that I was supposed to be there. Like I was supposed to be doing this.
Reggie, I'm gonna put you on ice for one minute.
Mhm.
Dog, I watched the video and it was like watching your dad. Although your jumping was a little bit different because you had that little foot forward and you leaned into that baby, right? But you had range. You had range. Reggie, for you, how exhilarating was that getting to see him finally do his thing? Father-son duos coming to Georgetown is it's a special thing. It's not rare. You got Trey, you got Dikembe's son coming now. You had Patrick's son that came. So it's not an easy road to travel. How exciting was for you to see that he got a chance to really do his thing?
Well, I was really happy. At first I was disappointed because I thought he could play at Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say he played 35 minutes a game, but with the team, and I like the team, I like the guys or whatever, but I thought Ryan should have been in there, but his confidence was taken away from him. I'm not putting no blame on anything because Ryan probably had a part in it too, but JT3, he didn't recruit him. He recruited guys. So you know who plays if that happens. The recruited guys usually play, and coaches don't like to, say that they made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And they make a lot of mistakes. So
you would know you were a coach.
Yeah, on talent, and I thought Ryan should have played a lot more. The team wasn't a good team. It wasn't a good team. The 4 years that Ryan was there, and so give somebody a chance who give him the confidence. Thought he took his confidence away from him from high school till he got there, and it basically was he didn't recruit him, so he wasn't a recruit, so he just the last man out.
Right.
But when he went to Golden Beacon, he was pretty much free. He played his game. He didn't have to look down the bench if he missed a shot or made a mistake. His confidence it grew.
Right.
With that year, and plus he got his master's, so
it
was all the way around. It went all the way around.
So word on the street that you were an extremely good student, Ryan.
Yeah.
So you clearly brought up that GPA on the team, something that I couldn't do. But I want to ask you. So you took the number 21.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know who wore 21 at Georgetown before you?
I didn't. When I first got into the locker room, they just literally just threw me a jersey. It was like, here, take this.
Right.
Like my dad was saying, I was a walk-on, so I was at the bottom of the barrel. It didn't matter who he was. They treated me like.
But that should have been a good omen, though. That should have been a good omen. That should have been a good thing. Now, if they only gave you 34, that might have been a little tough.
Yeah, a little too much.
But the fact they gave you 21 is like, this is gonna get some burn.
Yeah.
Ryan, I can relate to you on this level. They didn't recruit me. I was told I was never going to play. But again, I'm playing in a different time. Mm-hmm. I'm playing in the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, you playing where if you got offensive game, you should be if you can put the ball in the bucket, you should be playing.
No matter what. Yeah.
And I just know this from the rip. Your tenacity and your nastiness, that dude right there, I know you were bringing it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just one of those things that I would love to have JT3 on to chop it up about it. But just from the standpoint that, again, father-son duo, not that you needed any breaks, but I know you coming in with a certain mentality already built in. Mm-hmm. So I just want that to step. I will be posting that 7-minute video of you today.
Right.
So for all of those, if you want to see Boogie and if you want to see Reggie 2.0, I got it for you. Okay, I'm going to shift a little bit, and I already asked why you attended Georgetown. I'm going to hit you with this, Reggie. You're at Dunbar, Baltimore. The Poets, you motherfuckers are a Division I team, right? You might have been the NBA team in high school.
Mm-hmm.
what was that decision like for you to come to Georgetown? Because Wingate was there, and you and I got something. We got something in common because Billy came after me, and it was like I never knew that had any that was part of his decision making. Because guys think that we really are that close while we're hooping like that. We're really not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a business. So what led into the decision for you?
The decision to go to Georgetown?
Yeah.
I was recruited. I was the number 1 player in high school in 1983. So I had some choices.
No kidding.
I had choices in my life, and it was a tough decision. Either go away from home, where I'd never been, away from home, never been on a plane until I started being recruited, going to these schools to check them out. And so, Kentucky was some school that I was dreaming about going to, UCLA, Louisville. So it was tough. And then I just looked at the landscape and said, well, who got the best big man in the country? So that was more of a business decision. So I said, well, 45 minutes away, an hour, 45 minutes away, got the beast. And so Patrick was pretty much, he was the lean, for me to make that decision.
Wingate wasn't in your ear at all?
No, Wingate ain't tell me shit, man. It might have been a different story. It might have been a different story with my decision making, what I mean? But Wingate, we talked about it years later. He said, Reg, I just didn't want to tell you, but I'm happy with the decision. I'm happy with it.
Well, legendary career, to say the least. Ryan, I mentioned your off the court, exploits, how you brought up that GPA. I know you were a budget analyst at Howard and Catholic. What are you currently doing now? Do you still check out the Hoyas? What's your flow these days? Given before the pandemic, of course, right?
Oh yeah. So I'm still working as a budget analyst at Catholic University.
Okay.
So I help with like the provost office and getting all money allocated to the different schools. Right now we're going through like a huge transition because a lot of the kids aren't on campus and stuff like that.
Sure.
So we're cutting the budget by a lot, millions of dollars. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now, trying to figure out how feasible it is to continue school for the rest of the year, basically.
So if there are any Georgetown, Hoya administrators or anybody listening like that, incredibly talented. So if he's already in the game. So if there's something going on in Georgetown, don't hesitate to pick up the phone and let him know. I like to do that, Reg. I like to do that. I put him on blast, Reg. I have to.
We need more love like that, and with the program, and hopefully, it can get to that situation.
Well, again, the aim of this is for me to put, guys who put bricks in there, and Ryan, you're part of that, right? You're part of the history, you're part of the legacy, and it's important to me. Because again, like I know I maximize my opportunity there, but being able to play with your dad for only 1 year, it's not like your dad and I were close, but it was one of those things where I think I benefited from him playing with Muggsy, because Muggsy being able to play D like that, he's like, okay, this dude can play D, he can be all right. And Reggie was always on my team in practice. So he getting all the shots. Yeah. So it's just one of those things. I just have the utmost respect for the players. Right?
It's not an opportunity type of game. Whoever can put the ball in the basket,
right?
Put the ball in the basket, right?
Right. So Ryan, when you talk about the hilltop, obviously it was not the most satisfying on the court. But I do want to applaud you, and I do want to celebrate you, because the games that I saw during that time period, which was 2013 to 16, am I correct?
Yep.
You were always off your feet. You were always in the game. And when I watch particularly when I watch Georgetown, I look at the bench. I look at to see what the bench players are doing, because Reggie will tell you our second team was just as good as our first team.
Yeah.
And that leads me into something, Reggie, the difference between your freshman and senior year at Georgetown. Your senior year, Reggie and the Miracles, you're captain of the team. Your freshman year, you, like me, was probably the first one out the locker room.
Yeah.
How did you make that transition from the freshman year to, because again, you did major work freshman year, MVP of the championship game. You get to be a senior. How did you make that? Okay, did you say this is now my time to put everybody under my umbrella?
Yeah, it was. I mean, just like you said, as a freshman, you kind of look towards the elders.
Ryan, he wasn't looking towards nobody, Ryan.
Let me stop lying. I'm trying to be dramatic about it. But I had the game coming from I'm the number one high school player, so I wanted to be respected too, just like I was going to give respect. But I was young coming into Georgetown, and I still had the confidence that I could play this game. And so, but I always been humble, always been quiet, and never boast about how I played or anything. I let other people speak to that.
Your game spoke for you, though.
Yeah. So, but I was pretty much the same as far as attitude. I was the first one out the building as a senior, even though I know that I was the elder statesman my senior year. I was the only senior on the team because the two guys who came in with me, Michael Graham and Cliff Duraso, they had left.
Yeah.
They left me. For whatever reason, and Gene knows, and I know what I know. But they were gone, so I was, I had more responsibility. Coming in as a freshman, I didn't have that responsibility. It was Gene, Freddie Brown, they've been there, been through all that, the craziness. So I just was the low man on the totem pole. As that's how it works at Georgetown.
Well, for the record, Reggie wasn't the low man on the totem pole. Reggie could have started as a freshman. Ryan, what was your most?
Hey, Jay, hold up. I did start as a freshman. The first 11 games.
First 11, you're right.
And then we'll get into that. I had left a 2-week vacation and then came back. That's why I was on your team.
So why don't we stay with that? You're right. You did start the first 11 games.
That's right.
And then you had a 2-week, you went on a special vacation.
Yeah, that's 2-week notice.
We're going to get back to that, Reg.
We get back to it.
So Ryan, what was the most memorable experience for you on the court, even though it was limited time and it could even be in practice? And what was the most memorable on the hilltop?
I guess the most memorable, I don't think it was even a moment. I guess it was the entire experience, to be honest. Being able to go into a gym and seeing my dad's jersey hanging on the wall every day and knowing I'm practicing and playing for that same team. I'm putting the same colors as him on and going through the same process. Like, for me, the entire experience was worth it. I think I tried to appreciate it for what it was. Even though I didn't play that much, I found the good in everything else. Like, you can ask the people who play with me. I didn't get on the court during the game, but I tore their ass up during practice. And they felt it.
They felt it. They felt the Williams. They felt it.
I had to earn my respect. So it wasn't at a certain point. It didn't become about me. How much time am I going to get into the game? It became about how much work am I going to put in to make myself better and the team better, and to the commitment that I have. So
I reached out to a couple cats that you hoop with, and they pretty much echo what you just said. And in particular, I talked to Trey, because obviously you and Trey got same experience, similar experience. Yeah. And he just said, and I'm not quoting him, but pretty much he just said, I got mad respect for that dude. Mm-hmm. Everything that he went through, the average cat could not go through, and still come through there and put in work. So clearly, again, that's what the locker room to me is all about, because the respect we have for each other sometimes doesn't get echoed, right? Everything is about wins and losses at Georgetown. I'm not trying to kid ourselves. And on that note, I'm gonna get back to you, Reggie, in that 2-week hiatus. What was that all about, Reggie? Share that with me. Share that with the people.
I'm gonna share it with you, but I just want to get back to Riyan. That
Okay, please, yeah.
Because I'm proud of him because a lot of people wouldn't have been able to get through that situation at Georgetown. Not playing, your friends talking, people talking.
Your dad's a legacy, a legend there. Yeah.
He didn't let basketball define him. You know what I mean? He could have been broken and been out in the street doing, whatever, but he still was a strong enough person to, maintain where his values were. So I'm proud of my son who went through that experience and came out of it on top, because I always talk to him. I said, well, look at the players who was recruited there. They let basketball define them. A lot of players that we played with gave up. They didn't want to play basketball no more. You know what I mean? And they had starring roles at Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
They let basketball define them. And Riyan did. And so he went he went that extra year. So he got something out of the basketball thing. Some people wait, searching for the NBA treasures, and they go 10, 15 years trying to find that dream that they, that dream that they wanted for themselves. And then they turn around, they 30, 35 years old and still don't have it. You know what I mean? So a lot of people who see this podcast, people who worked hard, may not get a lot of time. For yourself, Gene, you did a lot, post Hoya. You know what I mean? You didn't play, but you didn't let that define you. You were more than just a basketball player. That's what I'm trying to say. So I just want to say I'm proud of my son for, living his dream. And when that dream was done, he still had a career.
Well, that's why, I reached out to you, Reggie, and it was like, I really wanted Riyan on the show. I really wanted you both on the show together. Because, with all due respect, you having you on, Russ, is you Mount Rushmore material. Like you're a segment in and of itself. I like the background, but I like the light, Ryan. I like the light.
Like the light.
But I mean, you're a show in and of itself. But I have been in your presence when your son was playing, and you could give a fuck that you were Reggie Williams from Georgetown. It was all about your son, and so it means a lot to me that you're both on together. And Reggie, I'm a role player dude. I'm good with my 15 minutes a game because I know what I'm gonna do in that 15 minutes. Another motherfucker can't do in 40.
Yeah.
But by the same token, I got appreciation for 1 through 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
and also, I'd like to say that your play, even though you didn't play that much at Georgetown, somebody's saying something in you because your ass got drafted.
we ain't gonna talk about that.
No. That still is an accomplishment. For a player who wasn't recruited, who told he wasn't going to play at Georgetown, right? And so you had a career at Georgetown. What you average at Georgetown, Jane? Tell us, how much you average?
I don't even know, Reg. Whatever Riyan averaged, I averaged 1 point more.
You still got drafted by the Indiana Pacers and had a chance of making the NBA. That's special, man. You know what I mean? Special. That's special.
I appreciate it. Riyan, I want to ask you, I want to get back to you and your dad.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys, personality-wise, similar in, and then what are you opposite in?
I guess I'm like the perfect mix between him and my mom. Like you said, my dad doesn't have a lot of words. I have like the same demeanor, but I have the words to back it up too. So I'm gonna get on you, but it's gonna be with words as well. Like he'll give you that mug, and you know what time it is. But I'll give you the mug and some words with it. and then you'll know what time it is. But other than that, we both have for the most part, a real calm demeanor. We think intellectuals, especially when it comes to basketball, he instilled in me thinking the game. A lot of people play basketball, but they don't think basketball, and there's a big difference in that. And like you said, you see a lot of my movements and a lot of the things similar to his. It's because he taught me to think, to how to move, how to get to your position, how to go from a triple threat to this without taking extra dribbles and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty similar.
That's the most slept on part, I think, of your dad's game back then. How cerebral he was in terms of hooping. Reg, you agree with the assessment in terms of personality?
Yeah, Gene, you've been knowing me for a while since I've been a freshman. It's been over 20-something years, and I'm pretty much the same. And but Riyan is more. He's not. He's more of a thinker. You know what I mean? Riyan reads a lot. We call him, my wife and I call him Little Malcolm X, because if you're going to get into the debate with Riyan, you better be ready.
Okay.
He's read up on stuff and form his own mind. So he's pretty much, he's like you said, he's in between my wife and myself. And so when we have conversations or disagreements, it's a lot.
So your wife is a deal breaker.
I don't know about that. So that's the difference. Riyan, he's gonna have everything, to back his point of view up. So you better come, psychologically ready for him, because you're just not going to tell him something and he just going to believe it, or he's going to tell you. It's going to be a conversation. It's going to be.
Well, you both are similar in that regard, Reggie. You ain't gonna just tell you something you gonna believe.
That's right.
So I just want to go back for a second.
Okay.
You played for Bob Wade, and your practices at Dunbar, Baltimore, are pretty legendary. Like, them shits weren't easy.
Yeah.
Compare Bob Wade to Coach Thompson, Big John, Big Coach.
I mean, both was disciplinarian. Wade, he wasn't loud. Wade he was, ex-football player. And the things that we used to do, it was like a boot camp. We ran with bricks. We did jumping jacks. We did everything with these damn bricks, man. It used to drive us crazy.
Ryan, did he have you working with bricks, Ryan?
Yeah, running up the hill.
Gene, I tried that curl, but they wasn't tough enough.
Yeah.
So I had to eliminate it.
You need to go to the inner half of that shit, Reggie.
You gotta go in the city, right? So
yeah.
we ran with bricks after a 3-hour practice, and then he tried to put 20-bag sandbags on our back, and everybody fell out. So he had to discontinue that one. So you didn't get the foul language, and what we went through at Georgetown. Yeah. You didn't get that, but you got the disciplinary type of atmosphere there at Dunbar, and when the games came, we were mad as hell, so we wanted to kick everybody ass. Because we had to go through carrying bricks, sandbags, and things like that. At Georgetown, it was more of a mental game, mental challenge. And you would be called all kind of names, and it was like the great. And I didn't like the experience. And when I get to that, my 2-week vacation, little special vacation, we get into that in a minute. But I didn't like that. You didn't have to talk to me to make me a great basketball player. Right. You could sit me down, we can watch film, but it wasn't like that. It was a challenge. Coming from where I came from, even though I'm an inner city guy and I've seen a lot, been through a lot, but I didn't have to go through no mental challenge about playing basketball, but it was tough, man. So that's the difference.
That's the difference.
The cursing in the Gays game, you'll be fired, but back then when we were there, Gene, it wasn't.
Dog, I had it before you. So it was worse before you.
years before me.
And the biggest difference for me, Russ, is you know, for a motherfucker that has options, you know, you come in number one player in the country, you already got options. And so a cat who has no options, you can talk to him a different kind of way. You can't talk to this dude here that kind of way. So I always make the distinction because no matter where I went, I only had one other scholarship offer, but wherever I went, I was going to play that way. So regardless of, and you only can hear out of one ear, Reggie. So that shit was going in one ear and stopping.
Yeah.
So Ryan, I want to ask you, compare JT3 coaching to your dad.
Mm.
You can be short or long.
My dad's coaching style was definitely more flexible. When something didn't work, he would implement other solutions to the plan. I felt like when things didn't work for JT3, kept trying to do the same thing, kept trying to run the same offense over and over and over again, like the other team was going to forget what we were doing, but it never happened. So I feel like that's one thing that was a main difference. He wasn't married to one set of or form of basketball. He understood that basketball is a nuanced sport. Like you can't continue to do the same things over and over again and expect your opponents not to defend it, especially when we're getting to the level when we're watching film every day and we're seeing y'all do the same 30 plays every game. And we know you're going to do that same 30 plays every game. So, yeah, the ability to diversify his playbook in a sense. And in that same sense, I'm his son. The first day of practice, he said, he got everybody together and was like, this is my son right here. If he doesn't work his ass off, he's going to be on the bench right next to all of y'all. There is no favoritism here. It is work or you don't play at all. And from that day, everybody understood it didn't matter like who I was. Like I had to earn my spot just like everybody else. I didn't come on the same team starting. I had to work my way off the bench just like everybody else. Like he had people who he had coached there before who he had loyalty to, that he had to prove that I was supposed to be on the court. At the end of the day, it's his reputation that was at stake. It was his job that was at stake. And there was no room for error, even if that error was me. So the ability to be like, I don't care who you are with, like whatever, if you're not contributing to this offense, to these wins, you're not playing on the court. And I don't think JT3 had that same type of mentality. So like he coddled a lot of the guys that he recruited or expected to do good. And because of that, they didn't, they underperformed. Like if you baby somebody so much, then
especially on that level.
Yeah, they don't think anything's wrong. These people are, especially in the day age we're in, these kids are already sensitive, like soft, already like built up in high school to be the best players ever when they haven't even played any competition yet. So these guys are coming from high school thinking big heads, already thinking they're the best ever. Then they come on the team, it's like, you're just an average player, like you just like the rest of it. So it's just like trying to I think my dad was good with settling egos down of the players. So
when you dope as he is, you know, it can as a player.
Yeah.
You kind of see that.
He did a good job of settling the egos, and once your ego's out of it, then that's when you really play team ball. If you can see my 3 years at Georgetown, we weren't playing team ball, but our offense was team oriented. It made you have to think team, but everybody was playing as an individual, and because of that, it was no connection between the players.
Did you guys have one good year where I think you were second in the Big East?
Yeah, and was
that your first year, or?
I think it was my second year. We made it to the second round in the NCAA, and then we were in Oregon, and then we lost to I think it was like Houston or something, or like 5 or something. But yeah, that was a great experience. Like that was the year that I feel like everybody bought into the system.
Right.
But then after that, it's just like, we're gonna do what we want to do.
Russ, I want to ask you on the coaching shit. What was your style? Because obviously you played for some successful coaches.
Yeah.
What was your style like? Did you pattern after anyone? I mean, what Riyan said about you being flexible, understanding the nuances, understanding players, was that all mixed in together? Like,
pretty through my experience, James, high school, college, professional, I just kind of used a little bit of everybody. And I knew, I was more of a transition type of coach. I was a scorer, so, I try to get my best players in the best position to do that. Come from a defensive-oriented team that I played on. I try to use, I had 55 that we were successful at Georgetown with. And so I used that, picked up from everybody. But I was tough on the guys, but I always, I could be soft on them, So I had, I wasn't, driving them to the ground where they didn't have confidence. I knew they could play, so I said, you're gonna have to give me a little bit more, or you got to put wrinkles. If you're gonna run a system, you got to put wrinkles in there because people are scouting you. The further you go up in this basketball, people they put a lot of money into film work, watching what you do. If you cough, they say, well, he coughed this certain time of the day, and so you just can't be married to a system because you played that system in college or whatever. So you have to be, you got to play to the tune of what you have on your team. If you got some scores and some dogs on there, you got to let them boys go out there and say, y'all go take me to the promised land. I'm not gonna hold you back. So that was the type of coach I was. I didn't, if you could play, I was gonna let you play. I wasn't gonna restrict you in some kind of system where you wasn't going to be effective. And that's what I thought the problem was at Georgetown, that it was restrictive. You know what I mean? And you get athletes and then you're going to restrict them, say, no, you're going to do it my way, with no wrinkles. It worked for a few years at Georgetown when, JT3 came there because they were not familiar with how the Ivy League played. But after the first couple of years, people said it was just direct. And I had an NBA scout come to me and say, well, Reggie, I don't know how, we see the players, I'm trying to evaluate them, but it's hard to evaluate the players in that system because it was so methodical.
Mm-hmm.
Like robots, you couldn't really tell what the true players are. And so, it is what it is. It's no longer there. And hopefully we can get back to the beast of the East. We're not the beast of the East now. We let Villanova get that title. And I'm sick about that.
Sick about it, Reggie.
I'm sick about it. And so we're going to have to recapture that because we were the beast of the East for years and years.
Reggie, I'm so sick. We are picked to finish 11th, dead last. And, love our fan base, supportive. Yeah. But how is finishing last an option for us at Georgetown?
Not an option. It's not
I'm not surprised you became a coach, Reggie, by the way. I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised in your range and how you do and how your philosophy. I will go on the limb and say I'm surprised for as long as you've been coaching, you're not on our bench. Because and again, you don't have to say, well, I would want you on our bench. Because again, in terms of probably the most slept on thing about you is your mental. And then the other thing that I relate to is that you were just nasty, dog. I had Chuck Everson on last week. We did a Villanova Georgetown kind of show.
Yeah.
And you were hurt. So you were already in a bad mood.
Bad mood anyway. Yeah.
And so dude tried to box your dad out, Ryan. It wasn't a good look. So, but that was kind of how we got down back then. And I don't think we're far from that, but I do think we need to get, if one thing I'll always give Big John or Big Coach credit for is that he talked that shit. Externally. So he talked that talk. So if you're an opposing team, you hearing that, so you're a little bit, he's 6'10", that I need to establish that type of verbiage, that type of mentality, and I think that's what's missing. And maybe that's just the game today, Ryan. Maybe you can touch on that. Like, you can't be that Debo, but that's our program.
But it's the type of players though. That's what it comes to. The type of players you're recruiting. If you get those players who aren't from the inner city or haven't grew up from any adversity at all, they're going to play basketball that same way. Same with me. I wasn't a rough basketball player until I understood, oh, this is what it is. This is the game. And then every time somebody's getting the elbow, you getting something from me.
Getting touched.
Yeah, you're not going past me without getting touched. But it took me time to understand that because that's the type of basketball that I was playing. Mm-hmm. But other people don't get that same experience because, like I said, it's so many areas that people are getting recruited from that these people don't have the same life experience to build that toughness. So you're having these soft players come to these institutions with coaches who want to do this style, but their players aren't receptive to that same thing. So they're at a point where, like, what do we do? How do we go about this while having you produce at a high level? Because basketball is about that confidence. What confidence your coach can give you and what confidence you can keep while you're in the game, whether you're missing or making shots. And if you don't have a coach who can articulate or talk through that in a way that is receptive to you, for you to say, oh, I just missed a shot, but I'm gonna shoot that shit again, then you're gonna be down on yourself the entire game. It's a psychological game, just as much as it is a physical game. So I think it's a weird transition for coaches now because basketball is getting a lot more bigger, a lot
right.
more people are playing it just because, getting into it just for the money. So it's like they gotta find a balance. And
right.
Where do you find that balance at? If you're recruiting 15 different people, that's 15 different personalities that you have to keep in touch with as a coach. So
before we started, we had Markham Stansbury on, Reg. Mm-hmm. He said something about your appreciation for the managers, and just what they went through. Where did that come from? Because I alluded to how I was always excited about how Riyan stayed in the game, even though he wasn't playing. So to me, that's another attribute. But where did you get that respect and appreciation for the managers from?
Well, I always had it, Gene. I watched. We talked, and I watched the show with the managers, mm-hmm. and they were politically correct.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
They went through more shit than what they try to say. You know what I mean? And so, they were treated like players, like some of the players, David Green and them said, Kenny Brown. But they went through some shit that for that scholarship that nobody should have had to go through. You know what mm-hmm. I mean? And they were thought up as players, but they were thought of as second class players. If the coach's mouth got dry, somebody got to be there with water. You know what I mean? If the water's not there, you're a motherfucker. I mean, nobody should get treated like that. I don't care, if a scholarship on the line and
And the laugh line is because we know that shit happened. That's
right. The water, your mouth get dry, my mouth get dry. I take my ass to the sink and get me some water. I don't tell my kid, go, because my mouth dry. Ryan can't appreciate this. So, I always treated them with respect because I knew what they had to go through. If anything went wrong around there, I remember, I think you were there, Gene. Somebody came into the cage and stole a practice jersey and jock straps. There was so much hell in that damn building. Over a raggedy ass shirt that you got bunch of, to the ceiling. And it was so much hell raised around that McDonough gym until somebody said, well, the hell with this shit. Let me sit this shit back. Let me set this shit back here so we can stop talking about this raggedy ass practice jersey that we practicing all year for a year.
Right.
And it was good after we finished with it that year. We couldn't wear nobody. I mean, it's been thrown away.
Hold up, man. I got a tear in my eye, dog. Say, put that Brady shit right there.
So appreciation for the managers, man, and some of the managers got blamed for that.
That's where it came from.
Yeah, so I appreciate those guys, man, and I just treated them well. Anything I could do for them, I would do it. I never disrespect them. Talking down to them because I knew what they were going through for that time period in there, man. And I appreciate their work.
Yeah, I have to echo those sentiments. That manager show for me was big love because I had a little more of a basketball relationship with the managers than you did, Reggie, because whenever we were short a player, the manager worked out with me. I had a manager doing 10-10. So that was that my appreciation was over and above. So that's why that show was important.
Okay.
Ryan, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Does your dad act like or feel like he's on Georgetown's Mount Rushmore?
Yeah. He feels like he should be and not getting the.
No, there's no feel like. Does he know that he's on Georgetown's Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't take it. You can't take it away, no matter what. Even if, like words take away what he built.
And the reason why I say that is because he's such a humble cat.
Yeah.
Right. And again, I played with him as a freshman, and I'm telling you, the level of athletic ability was insane. The mental was insane. And the fact that the dude said so, his game talked for him, right? His game talked for him. And you talking about a cat like me who's basically a football player playing basketball, and I get a chance to run with this dude, and he's actually, following, an instruction or something that I make. Like, we're gonna do this defense, we're gonna do this, and he's actually listening. I'm like, oh man, I'll remember this for the rest of my life. So I guess I'm asking you because I just want to make sure that he knows, 1, 2, or 3, pick him.
Yeah.
That's him. So
I know, Gene.
Okay.
I know, Ryan. I know, and but
Ryan, when you start doing this, I'm getting nervous. You ready to take a guilt shower?
I know, but I feel like that I don't get the respect that I should get from that program, and I think it's been orchestrated that way. I don't come around that much. I don't be asked to come around that much. I'm not supported, and I don't feel supported when I come around there. And by not coming around there, they think other people are better than me. And so I just listen and look or whatever, and they put people who haven't, had the career that I had at Georgetown in front of me, or like I wasn't a contributor to that school, that basketball program. That's when I get annoyed. Give me my due. You may not like me. You know what I mean? You may not like me, but I came there and contributed to that program, and in 100 years, it hasn't won a championship to 1984. So, and I was a big part of that championship team. So, give me my respect that I deserve. I don't go to the newspaper or any other form of media. I did this show because I like you. At one point, I didn't like your ass. You was a senior, you was loud. You know what I mean? I said, I don't like this dude. But our relationship had grown over the years, and we're good friends. I mean, we text, we call, we see each other. Much love there, and I don't like the way that it's supposed to be a Georgetown family, but it's not a Georgetown family. It's a dysfunctional family, and I don't like that. And people don't talk about it enough. They think everything is dandy there. We had a wonderful time. Yeah, we had great experiences there, but there's a lot of hurt people. There's a lot of hurt people that played for the program that never got that. Hey, I'm sorry about that. Hey, I didn't mean that. Nobody got that. Nobody got that. You know what I mean? And they never would now. They never who played in our era under John Thompson Jr., we won't get that. We won't get that, you know, where, hey man, you did do this for the program. Like I talked to my son, he wants me to look at it at a different way. He wants me to come back to the program, and I'm still debating, thinking, and I tell him my point of view, and he give me another point of view. He said, Dad, go back there and get what you're supposed to get. You know what I mean? And I'm not at that time now. You know what I mean? I'm not at that point yet. You know what I mean? And just like I said, even though you contributed to the school, how would you feel they don't even ask you to come back to help the young guys? I don't even know most of the young guys. I don't know them. You know what I mean? If they say a name, I go Google them. Oh, he played during this year. Why is that? That's not a family. You're supposed to know your family. You know what I mean? So I'm very disappointed about my post-Georgetown days opposed to my pre-Georgetown days.
Yeah. So I'm going to piggyback on that. And I knew you didn't like me because I was loud, by the way. There is no way that anyone that has anything to do with Georgetown basketball that doesn't know what Reggie Williams contributed to that school. And to me, this is the thing, Riyan, that I touch on. If you look at your dad's career, his 4-year career, his teams were 122 and 19. He never experienced a season with double-digit losses. The motherfucker that we all say the beast of the East, Patrick, is 121 and 23 or something. So your dad probably has the best 4-year record, win-loss record at Georgetown. So that being said, he's in the Hall of Fame. What he did on the 86-87 team blows my mind. Won the Big East regular season. Won the Big East championship. Should have been in the Final Four.
Should have been.
Lost in the Elite Eight. The motherfucker averaged 24 points a game. So I say all this to say, whether you come back or not, you ain't never going nowhere. Your mark is indelible. And all I'm trying to do with this little bullshit here is to make sure that that's known, dog. So if it's just 5 or 6 of us, it'll be 5 or 6 of us. But in terms of you coming back, that's your spot. Dunbar Baltimore is your spot. And that goes for you as well, Riyan. That goes for you as well. So again, I don't necessarily want to end on that note. I know that I want to keep going. We're over an hour. I usually don't go longer than an hour. I want to thank you both because it's a Sunday. Family time. I get it. This pandemic, the election, we got a lot of shit going on. And we can keep going if the energy's there. But if not, I seriously, man, I can't thank both of you enough. Reggie, I did want to. Oh, go ahead, Riyan. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm good. I got time.
How you doing, Russ? You good?
No, we can do. I mean, no conversation. You can get into what I know we passed it, but you can get into the reason I left Georgetown for those.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Ryan would love to hear that. I don't know if I told you the story, Ryan, but
he didn't go in deep into it, but I know.
Let me pour my beverage. Go ahead, Reggie. I'm listening. Go ahead, baby.
Okay.
Because Reggie, I want to tell you, because you talked about dysfunctional, we had roles. It was like a business. So if you bounced, I probably didn't even know.
Yeah, you did.
Because that's how the program was run. Like
a shroud.
Like you could call it that, but basically for me, it's like, yo, my role is to pack this box this way, put the tape on it. I ain't even worried about what this other dude doing. But I would love to hear the story myself because I don't know the story.
But before I go into it, what you thought happened when you didn't see me at practice no more for 2 weeks? What you thought?
At what point in time was it in the season? That matters.
It was early. It might have been in January.
So if it was because I had been there for 3 years, and shit like that happen all the time.
Right? He gone. That's what you thought. He gone.
Just another one bites the dust.
Yeah.
Because it was literally at some point in time, Ryan, it was literally like boot camp on top of some. I always use military analogies. I don't mean to, but it's always like some almost. But that worked for a dude like me. Again, because I'm grimy. I'm fouling. I'm fouling in practice. I'm sure Russ was glad he was on my team because I'm fouling. Because I'm trying to get 15 minutes a game, right? I'm doing whatever I gotta do.
Yeah.
But so Reg, I probably didn't even.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I didn't care because I had to care because I was captain of the team.
Yeah.
But it's like shit. One man down, no one got to get back in.
Yeah. That's true. Well, I was tired of the shit. I mean, I was up to here. I mean, it was just something that I wasn't, I'm tough-minded. I come from the city of Baltimore, played against some tough guys. Always been, a tough guy, always been quiet, but you just couldn't push me around and say anything to me. But I wasn't ready for that craziness over there. To play basketball, I said, I don't have to deal with this shit to play basketball. Just tell me what you need me to do. That's the type of person I am. Just tell me what I need to do. I'll do it the best I can. I don't need to be no some bitch or motherfucker. You know what I mean? So I was tired of it. I was tired of it. And I said, well, I'm gonna be your last some bitch and motherfucker because I'm So I went home, took my 2 weeks, and thought about not returning. And my mentor, Leon Howard, said, Reggie.
Shout out to Leon Howard.
Yeah, Leon Howard. He turned, I think, 80 years old last week or something like that. So he asked me to go back. He said, I don't want them to blame him for the shit that I did. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if you remember, Gene, there was another player that was recruited by Georgetown, came in with Al Dutch and them, Barry Scott. Barry Scott came to Georgetown from Dunbar, could play mid-range J, could wheel and deal. He signed with Georgetown and then he left. And a few years later, they found him dead in Florida. And so they blamed Leon Howard, my mentor, because they said, well, Leon Howard said he wasn't going to play in front of Al Dutch and what's the guy, Jackson?
Steve Martin, Dirk Jackson.
So, but when I left, he didn't want to be responsible for that. He the one that came pick me up. I said, man, you come and picking me up today. And he kind of pushed me back over there. And so I thought about it. I talked to my mother, and then I returned. And you guys was in Vegas. And so I left, Baltimore to come out to Vegas. That's when I didn't start anymore. I started the first lot, and I was starting, and I said, the hell with this shit. You know what I mean? I was averaging 11 points second behind Patrick and Wingate. You know what I mean? So the on court was fine. I just didn't want to deal with the shit. I didn't, I thought I didn't have to deal with it. And so I left him, but I returned and had a great career at Georgetown. And so that's the reason I left.
So your returning was obviously more difficult than you leaving.
Yeah.
And again, that just puts an asterisk on your career, though. Like that don't minimize anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, because at the end of the day, you're putting that program, right? Because you put them on the map. I mean, you put them on your back. I'm not gonna say you put them on the map. You put them on your back. Mm-hmm. Your junior year was your toughest year.
Yeah.
Like that's when y'all lost to Michigan State.
Yeah, we lost in the second round. Yeah.
To Scott Skiles and them.
Yeah.
But the fact that you came back, dog, it says more about your character. Because again, that program again was successful, but it was part of a machine, and there were things that were in place that were very challenging, to say the least. I'm not being politically correct.
I got you, yeah.
But the shit was not easy.
Yeah. And after, I had a great experience there. The winning covers a lot of things, masks a lot of things,
right.
Crazy shit. And so the post career, I think by me leaving there and coming back, when I came back, I didn't get cussed out. He left me the hell alone. You know what I mean? He let me be Reggie. You know what I mean? And that's all I wanted. Let me be me. Tell me what I need to do, and I will do it. You know what I mean? But so after I came back, I don't know, feelings got into it, and so that's why my post career has been a challenge because what I did when I in my pre-tour there. You know what I mean? But people don't let bygones be bygones. I still came back and played my ass off for you. So
played your ass off for, and your son went there.
Yeah, don't hold shit against me. You were wrong. I might have been wrong, but if we come together as men, let's squash the shit and let's go on. But they kind of put me in a position where shit, it was like some petty, petty bullshit. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm going to hold this against you because you did this to me. And I didn't like that. And I still don't like it today. And I still kind of struggle with it. It's a challenge for me because I say, well, you're going to denigrate, you're going to do what you do. But when somebody say, well, I ain't going to put up with the shit no more. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I still came back as a man. You know what I mean? I didn't disrespect anyone. I came there to perform. You know what I mean? And they held that like a grudge against me. That's why I didn't feel comfortable coming down there. That's why they didn't ask me to come back down there. The father or the son, you know what I mean? The father or the son. I took a story that kind of pushed me away before Ryan came down there. I never been to a Big East tournament after I left Georgetown, right? Played pro ball, retired and everything. They had some kind of event up at Georgetown. And I asked JT3, I said, man, can you think you can try to help me get some tickets? I said, I haven't been to Georgetown, a Big East game in 20 years, man. You think he told me, I'll see about that. Who the fuck are you? You're not a Georgetown man, really. You know what I mean? Your father created a program. You come from Princeton. You're gonna tell me, let me see. No, if I was him, how many you need, Reggie?
How many you need, Reggie?
How many you need? That's the perfect answer. You don't tell me, let me see. And so that pushed me away even more until my son went there. I went to every game.
Every game.
No, he wasn't gonna play. And my wife went to every game. Every game. And the other instance, Gene, I'm just gonna air out my shit while I'm here.
This is Hoya locker room. We in the locker room.
I'm sitting behind the bench.
You should ride outside like, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and me perfect.
Look at this. I'm up at the Capitol Center, whatever. They change names every year. But Georgetown was up 20 points. Maybe a minute and a half to go. JT struggled to put my son in the game. Kevin Broders had to walk down to the damn front of the bench and said, man, come on, put him in the game. They up 20 with a minute to go. And he had a problem putting my son in the game. So what I'm saying, I don't have no love for his ass. None. You know what I mean? So you don't treat my son like that. You know what I mean? He's already don't play. He living off of my name because I preceded him, and you up 20 and you don't put him in the game. Your assistant coach has to beg you. You know what I mean? Beg you to put him in a game with a 120. So I don't have no respect for the dude, none at all.
And it was kind of hard for me to balance that relationship as well. Knowing there was, I don't know even how to put my finger on it or what it was, but there was tension between JT3 and my dad and the whole Thompson family. So it was like coming into practice every day knowing that there's automatically going to be a certain spotlight on me.
But you still went through it.
Yeah, like for the first couple months when I was walking into the team, every time I miss a shot, they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna send your ass right back to Yates." you know where Yates is, the regular gym for the regular people where I played at.
Yeah.
So that became like a joke for the first year that I was playing. So it was just like certain things that I had to get over personally, get over myself, not take everything to heart, internalize it.
And yet you're still in your dad's ear about.
Oh yeah, I'm in his
Come on,
ear
man.
for sure.
Come on, man.
Oh, for sure. Because to me, everything happens for a reason. Like, my dad played in the NBA. It's not many Black men that have that opportunity or that experience. For me, I never had to deal with adversity or knew what adversity was. So stepping into that, it was like, wow, this is how the real world works. This is how people can treat you no matter what. It doesn't.
He is smart, Reggie. He is smart. He's smart.
Look at this, Jim. You know, that's why I said I'm proud of my son. I told my son, get the hell out of there.
Mhm.
I say, get the hell out of there. And he didn't do it. He stood up and said, Dad, I'm gonna get through this shit and I'm gonna be better from it. I told him many times, I said, man, don't put yourself through this. You know what I mean? But
and if you would have been playing with him, you would have told him the same thing.
I'd have told him the same thing.
That's what I know that to be true. I know that to be true. But Russ, you gotta understand, dog. Regardless of all that, you Hoya family.
Oh,
Regardless of all that, dog, that does not define anything. And I don't mean to be, on Ryan's side, but he you ain't going nowhere. I ain't gonna let you go nowhere. I mean, this is our shit.
Yeah.
I don't care. It could be 2050. This is our, and until they win another championship, I'm doing this bullshit right here. Now, when they win another championship, y'all ain't gonna see me. I'm gone. I'm done with it. I do want to ask you both, if you two played together, what would that look like?
I feel like we would dominate. I don't know. Like you said, the athleticism is unmatched. We would score 50 points just off fast breaks. So.
Your dad was so efficient, and watching you for 7 minutes, pretty efficient too. So I'm not gonna
shot what 54% my grad year. Like
I'm not gonna doubt you. Reg, you mentioned your pro career, and the only thing I really want to talk about your pro career is your time in Denver. Mm-hmm. It seems to be when you were the most happiest.
Yeah.
You also were captain of the team. And so again, your leadership, your quiet leadership, because you're not a loud guy. Mm. Can you touch on the I think it was the '94 season when y'all beat Seattle? Yeah. And compare that to your senior season at Georgetown, if you can. Just in terms of your leadership.
Yeah, the leadership, I was the only senior on the team, so I had to take the young guys on my back. And I was more vocal that year than any other year because I needed them. I say, you guys ain't gonna let me have a shitty season. That's
what it was, Ryan.
You're not gonna let me have a shitty season. Y'all gonna play the way I need y'all to play. So I was on that ass every day in practice, games, whenever. Helping them guys, in practice and things like that. So I had to be more vocal because I said, well, I've been doing so much winning here, I'm not losing my senior year. So they understood that. You can ask Mark Tillman about that. Mm-hmm. That you're not going to we're not going to have no bad season, my senior year. So and then with the Nuggets '94, I was the captain. I was the oldest guy on the team again, and I led them the same kind of way. That's why. Basketball comes so easy to me on the court and thinking wise. It's pretty much all my life since I was a little boy. I think the game, I watch the game, I watch players and, film and things like that. And you got to be prepared and ready. And so those teams was pretty similar as my leadership. They needed my leadership not only by play, but by vocal.
Love it. I want to ask you both, favorite player that you played with at Georgetown, and then I got a follow-up. But if you both could touch on your favorite player And it could be yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I was my favorite player at Georgetown, so it's nothing wrong with that. And if you could say why.
Mine would probably be Reggie Cameron, because he was one of my good friends during that time, and we had kind of like a similar experience after his freshman year. So we bonded a lot. We were able to like talk a lot, and then like you said, because so he started his freshman year, but after his freshman year, his time started to diminish a lot. So we was on the bench together. We was on the second team together. We were just spending a lot of time basketball wise. So we got to learn each other's games, motivate each other, push each other in different ways outside of basketball, like as men, the mental aspect of it. Like I said, I wasn't on the court with the guys a lot. So my relationship to the guys, the extent of it happened either in the locker room or outside of the gym when we were hanging out and like stuff like that. So yeah, he was probably one of my favorite people to play with for sure.
For you, Russ?
Uh,
I already know, Russ.
I don't know about favorite. I mean, the guys who I like playing with.
Yeah, who'd you enjoy playing with the most?
I'm gonna say you. I'm gonna say you because.
Wow, Reg, come on, man.
I'll say you not because you're the interviewer. I'm not gonna suck up to you like that.
Yeah, that's not in your DNA, dog. That's not in your DNA.
And because you brought something to the table, even though we had Michael Jackson, Wingate, they would score, you brought something else to the table. It was more, I say, unity. When you come in, because you came to the game defensively minded. How am I stop that dude in front of me?
Right.
You know what I mean? So you gave us that mentality. When Gene came off the bench, you came off the bench, it was a mentality that they're not scoring on us today. You picking them up 94. And so that was good to see because I played with somebody before you like that.
That's what I'm saying.
And I knew in doubt that you was gonna pass me the ball.
Without a doubt.
No doubt. I mean, if you had a good shot, and if I had a good shot, that ball is coming. And I played with a guy just like you in high school. So Muggsy was my favorite player. And when you came, when I came there, when you came off the bench, it was just a different atmosphere. That it was going to be more of a team type of game, and you didn't care who scored, who you gave it to, whoever dribbling that ball. I got him.
Yeah,
I got him. You know what I mean? So that's it.
Appreciate that, dog. Appreciate that. You kind of messed up my mind. Whatever I had to say after that, I done forgot. So you done messed me up with that. Anything you guys want to let people know that you're doing? Reggie, are you currently coaching now? Can we talk about that? Or
well, I coached my last coach maybe when Riyan left. I did the year after that, and then I tried something in St. Mary County. And I said, man, I can't do it no more. Then I had a program, Shooting Stars, where it was like an after school program where, they homework assistant, basketball training and things like that. So I'm still doing that. It's not Shooting Stars, it's books and basketball. That's pretty much the similar idea. Just giving back, it's not a lot of money or whatever, just giving back to young kids and helping them. I kind of form a little AAU team, 10 and under, things like that, just to give back my time. But I would like to say I'm glad you're doing something like this, Gene, Markham. Just to try to bring some kind of familiarity with the program and just try to get guys back on the same page, man. Just like I said earlier in an interview, that a lot of guys are hurt. A lot of guys that been through there, had some disappointment with their not playing, the language part of it. So a lot of guys got beat down, and some of them didn't recover from it. Some of them have, and still living with it. Some of them still have scars. I still have scars, but I'm still, on top of my game. And I don't know if, I probably wouldn't do it. I probably would still consider Georgetown. Just like I had great experience on the hilltop. Met a lot of good people in my life, and they've been supportive. The fans have been supportive. maybe the people inside, the staff, the coaches, you know, Thompson, you know, I don't know if they appreciate it or not, but I didn't hear from them. You know what I mean? If I don't hear from you, that, you know, is a problem to me.
Yeah.
But I had a wonderful experience. I'm glad my son went through there. I still respect the program and hope the day that they get back on top.
Yeah, and I guess again for me, Hoya locker room will cease to exist when they win another national championship, because you know winning masks everything. So they start winning again, you ain't gonna hear about shit like this. You're not gonna hear these stories, right? They won't be as interesting. So for me, if anyone from Georgetown University is listening, understand we're not bitter, we're not victims. These are real stories. We're moving forward. Ryan gonna make sure Reggie stay in the mix. Reggie, I'm gonna make sure you stay in the mix. This is healing. This is therapy. This is therapy. You know,
it's like it's not bitter. It's facts.
Facts.
I mean, people think that all the shit down there is hunky dory, and it's not. It's not. I mean, life is not hunky dory.
Life is not hunky dory.
A lot of shit you got to go through, and is where you end up at. That's where you at.
So Ryan, I'm gonna end with you, and this is the dealio. You and Reggie against Trey and Zoe. Who winning?
You winning that one. Trey can't check me.
Hey, if it's make it take it, they may have a chance. But
I want to thank both of you, man. I got nothing but love for you guys. Stay in touch. Hoya, salute.
I'll be watching.
Hey, Reg, I'm telling you, this is probably sleep has been the highest rated. This is going to cut that off right at the day. Thank you both, man. Nothing but love, man.
All right.
Enjoy your Sundays.
All right. Thank you.